Well, hi there. Welcome to Season 5 of the Big and Tall Show podcast. Your hosts, Tom Runyon and Mark Hastings, have another great episode in store for you this week. These two guys are going to share some wit and wisdom with you that will help you live big and tall in your faith. That's what this podcast is all about. So, Mark, Tom, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Jay, and welcome back to another episode of the Big and Tall Show. And man, we're back. We've taken a week off, but before we get started, before I even say hello to you, Mark, I think it's worth bringing up. I think it's worth noting. We always say thank you, Jay, and we have even said, we mentioned Jay a good bit, his family. Have we ever said his last name? And
that's interesting. I don't know.
I think maybe we have, maybe we haven't. But anyway, his last name is Webb, which means, yes, his name is Jay Webb. Not to be confused with the current American country artist from Alabama, who is known for blending modern country, hip hop, and southern rock influences. At least that's what AI tells me about him. I've never listened to any of your music, but there is a country music star named Jay Webb, and that was just brought to my attention this week. So anyway, I didn't know we were amongst stars here, but
you came across his name at the what is it called?
I think he's going to be at Rock the South here in July, which has moved to Decatur. I saw that on some social media stuff the last few days. But
Rock the South, Jay Webb, and you actually asked our Jay Webb. And he said, "No, it's not me." And you looked the star Jay Webb up, and he's totally different.
Very, very.
He's got the old face tattoos going on, which if you've got a face tattoo, I mean, what are you telling the world?
I think at some point in your life. Now, of course, there are people that have tattoos that have, especially face tattoos, that have made a transformation in their life and have returned to God. But for the most part, it brings to mind, Venezuelan gang members, that kind of stuff. So, but anyway, I don't want to be judgmental here, but that is kind of the trend. But anyway, so welcome, Mark. Hope you're doing well, and welcome back. Here we are, Season 5, Episode 1.
Yeah, we took a week off, Tom, and we've been doing this. I guess ever since we started our podcast, that we take a week and sort of take a break and come back with a different season, different theme, and try to switch things up at least. What we're talking about, and that's what we're going to do for this season, and it runs 12 weeks, just like our other seasons have. And Tom, do you want to? And we're not going to get to it just yet. We've got some other things to talk about, but do you want to tell everybody what our theme is for the season? I'm excited about it.
I do, but before I get to that, let me make mention of one thing. And I think it's fair to be transparent to our listeners. This is our first ever episode that you and I have recorded while actually using FaceTime instead of just a phone call between the two of us. And I know we mentioned that before, that we're not actually in the same recording studio, recording area when we're recording these. And so you and I now are able to sit here and stare at each other on a FaceTime call while we're recording. And I'll be honest with you. As soon as I started the introduction or thanking Jay for the introduction, you and I both started giggling like 4-year-old kids.
I don't know why.
What is wrong with
I can't stop laughing. I don't know. It's like I don't know.
Mark, I'm 50
it's
years
weird.
old. I'm 50 years old, and seeing your face, and here we are talking, it just made me start laughing. But anyway,
it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
But hey, this is one step closer, Tom, for the audience to see our face. Maybe
I think this is one step.
We're seeing each other.
This is one additional step of confirming that it's probably not a good idea for us to video.
It's probably not.
Anyway,
probably not.
All right. The theme for Season 5. I feel like we should have a drum roll sound effect, but we're not that high dollar. We're very low budget here, of course. Is Between Sundays. And, I would say it's a very safe assumption to say that one of the most negative aspects of the Christian faith, or those of the church, in the church, one of the most negative things that people outside the church can look at us and say, that's why I don't want to be a Christian, is because there are so many people that have the tendency to live almost dual lives, being hypocrites. There's this Sunday life, and then my Monday through Saturday life is nothing like what I'm trying to portray on a Sunday, and that's completely wrong. It's completely unacceptable for us as Christians to ever live that way. And we all, I would say, if we're not doing it now, at some point in our life, probably have. No matter who you are. And go ahead.
Well, this is sort of the theme is between Sundays. The tagline or the catchphrase is where faith meets everyday life, and that's what, as you said, Sundays it's sort of like, hey, everything's good, and I got my suit on, got my tie on, or whatever it may be. You appropriate dress for worship, and you feel religious, and you thinking the right things, saying the right things, and then Monday hits, and it's back to the old grind. It's back to the same old week after week, same people, we see the same things, do the same things, and that's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak.
Right. And this kind of goes hand in hand with a lesson that I'm preparing right now, that I'm going to be teaching some young people at Indian Creek Youth Camp next week, about social media. And you and I talked about this at lunch yesterday, is that maybe the biggest problem, maybe not the biggest, but a very large issue with social media is people start to see others, and it's not realistic. The social media perfection that everyone wants to post of how great your life is, how awesome everything is in your life. And that's almost the same thing. Like, people will show up on a Sunday worship service and try to portray that everything's perfect in their life. And we are, every single one of us, we're imperfect people. We have issues. We have things going on. We have struggles that we're working through. And so we don't need to portray that we're perfect, but I understand, we may not want to bring all of our baggage into the church building, but it's I guess more of the reality of life that we need to be very aware of, and supporting each other through the struggles that are out there. But yeah, how do we live our lives between the Sundays? Faith meeting everyday life, and so just I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great season because I need it. I know we all need it, and it's going to be good for us.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be talking, faith at home, faith at work. When life doesn't go like we want it to, how do we react? How do people see us reacting? We're going to talk about the idea of dealing with difficult people during the week. Boy, all of us could have some stories to tell on that, handling stress, anxiety, friendships, just everyday Christian living. And that's what takes place, Tom, between Sundays. And, that's going to be our theme for this season. I look forward to it. But Tom, before we get into our discussion for the day, you mentioned that we went to lunch yesterday.
Yes, we did. It's fantastic.
I want to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really good, and you got me out of my comfort zone. You took me to, and I don't even know how to say it.
Surin of Thailand. Yes.
Surin of Thailand, and it's a restaurant in Huntsville. And the appetizer, I guess you call it an appetizer, whatever they bring you as a complimentary type, like a breadstick type thing.
Little welcome soup.
A little welcome soup. And tell me if I'm wrong on this. Coconut and curry soup.
A little red curry paste with some coconut milk. Yeah, It may be one of the top reasons why you walk in the door there. It is fantastic.
It was good. It had a little kick to it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had curry. You call it curry?
Curry, yeah, that's right.
Curry.
Like the town near Jasper. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I don't know that I've ever, had that spice, but it was interesting. I mean, it was good. It was interesting. And then you advised me order because I told you when you said, "Hey, I want to take you to a different place you've never been." I said, "Okay, I'm not I'm a meat and potato kind of guy,
yeah.
and like my go-to is Cracker Barrel. Yes, I'm 47, but I act like I'm 77. But that's my go-to.
Sure.
And you said no, there'll be something for you there. You told me exactly what to get: the Thai barbecue chicken.
Yes.
With rice, shrimp. It was good. It was excellent.
I thought it was.
I took a picture. I sent it to Rachel and the kids just so they could, see my plate. And she responded, "Wow, what's that called?" Like it had a big name. I said, "It's barbecue chicken."
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. Barbecue
literally
chicken.
what it is on the menu.
But it was good.
Yeah, they marinate it in something, and whatever they marinate it in is a winner. It's one of their best.
Must be a little curry powder is the way it seems.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
And if you will ever venture to go back, I may have you try a little sushi. We'll give it a shot. I'll make sure. No, don't make that face now. I'll make sure that it's something that's nothing raw. I'll make sure everything in it's cooked at least. That's a good way to start it and get into it. So anyway, I'm glad you know me. I think I've talked about this before on the podcast. If it's Asian, any type of Asian food, I'm going to eat it. My favorite food, of course, two or three doors down is Vietnamese food. Filipino food is great. Indian food is wonderful. Chinese.
When you told me that we were going to try that, I said I made sure that we're not going to be sitting on the ground like on my knees right. or on a couch. I said, you said no. There's tables and booths, and chairs. So it's not that authentic. No. I guess you'd say.
And I don't even know who does that. I think maybe only the Japanese have those, those little tables that you sit on and you got to take your shoes off, which would be a terrible idea. But it's summertime. What are we thinking?
But Tom, let me tell you, I was thinking about this idea. I left my comfort zone and, to go to this particular restaurant. It was good. I enjoyed it. I'll probably go back. But, I was thinking about applying this to everyday life. You could tell me about Asian food, and you have, hey, how good it is, and the spices, and the sides and the appetizers and all this. But until I go and experience it for myself, then I can't really tell anybody about it. I can't really say, hey, I have tasted this, and here's what I think about it, one way or the other. And I think about what David said. And this passage, Psalm 34 and verse 8, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good." David was going through some struggles, and he was telling these men that he was talking to how God had helped him. And then he gets down to verse 8 there in chapter 34 or Psalm 34, and he says, well, you just need to taste it for yourself. Yeah. You just need to experience God for yourself. And that's what I was thinking about when I branched out and left my comfort zone and, went to this Thai restaurant that I would never go to without somebody prompting me. But I have seen, I've tasted, and now I can tell people my experience. And so anyway, I think that's an interesting. It is interesting tie-in,
and that's a great song too. I was on the tractor yesterday for quite a bit of time, and listening to a bunch of worship songs and singing along. And that song came on. I love that song. Taste and See. It's a great one. Mark, we are hoping, we're planning to publish this podcast episode on, I believe, July 8th.
Right.
I think that's the correct day. But we are actually recording it here on the 1st of July. I will be at Indian Creek Youth Camp next week. And, recording there is sometimes a challenge, not great internet service there.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm saying that is kind of between now where we're recording and where we're going to release it is the 4th of July. And I know last year at the 4th of July time, you spent some time talking about our country and some things,
Yep.
that make us so distinct. I know it's the 250th anniversary. That's a big deal. I'm looking forward to hopefully some really good fireworks this weekend. But
Yeah.
one thing I did want to mention, and this doesn't really have anything to do with 1776 or the 250 years of our country. Mark, and you and I are not soccer people. I think that's fair to say. But with the World Cup being here in our country means what? It means there are a whole lot of fans from other countries who are now in our country, enjoying our country. Yeah. And there's something that's really jumped out. Number one is these different cultures, people from different cultures who are now here in our country, just for a vacation and probably have never been here before. And one thing, I don't know if you've seen any of this on social media, but I have, is a lot of people saying, hey, look, the media has portrayed the United States to be a certain way. And it's totally, it's totally wrong. And people are like, I want to issue an apology to the United States of America. You guys are great. Everybody's friendly. You got great food. It's beautiful scenery.
They love the ranch.
Yeah.
That's what they said. The ranch dressing. They're like, what is this stuff?
It's fantastic. Obviously our country is beautiful. The freedoms and the variety of things going on. I mean, like you said, you and I went to a Thai restaurant yesterday. That doesn't happen a whole lot in Scotland, I would imagine. But I don't know. But it is always refreshing to be reminded about just how great our country is, and most importantly for me and for you, and I would say hopefully all of our listeners, is we have the freedom to worship God without persecution, without oppression. Right. We don't live in Saudi Arabia where they would, at the very minimum, lock us up probably in jail for doing this right here, for worshiping freely. That's just not a thing to them. And so, of all the things in our country that I know I'm very thankful for, and I know you are as well, is that we have the freedom to express religious beliefs and to worship God. And so I'm thankful for that. And what a great place we live.
And sometimes we take all of that for granted. I know I do. I mean, because I don't know anything different, but I can see it. I see the news and I know what's out there, and nobody has it like we do. I mean, that's just a fact. The medicine, the healthcare, the everything. Even at poverty level here in the United States, you are among the richest in the whole entire world. Yeah. And that's fairly amazing. I would imagine, that we could say that. So,
with very few exceptions, people who complain about our country, or it's usually after an election cycle. People who complain, well, then leave, and nobody wants to. With very few exceptions,
nobody does.
Nobody does because it's the greatest place on earth. So,
that's right. That's
Mark,
right.
we have used a lot of time. So let's very quickly go into this first episode of season 5 with our theme here. Once again, Between Sundays. So. Yeah. And I love the mindset of kind of this first week of this idea that Christianity, us being followers of Christ, it's who we are. It's our lifestyle. It's everyone should be able to look at us and say, you are a Christian. This is not a weekly, hey, I've just got to go one day a week and be seen at the church building, worship God, but then go back to my old life. That's not it at all. And in fact, I know we have passages throughout the New Testament that teach us very effectively about what it means to actually be a Christian. And it's not just a casual thing. This is a significant lifestyle change. In Romans chapter 12, verse 1, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. We are to be different. We're not to be transformed. We're not to be part of the world. We're to live in the world,
Yeah.
but not be of the world. We are to be Christians, and it's who we are. Yeah, I was a teacher at one point, but that's not who I am. I'm a Christian who was a
Yeah.
teacher. And anyway, go ahead.
That, no, Sunday is sort of a starting point. It's not the finish line. A lot of people say, "Okay, well, I've done my Christian duty, my responsibility. I've gone to church." And some people, I went to church one time on Sunday, and I'm good to go for the week. See y'all next Sunday. But that's not the finish line. It's the starting point. Sunday is the starting point of our jumping off place of okay, this is me being a Christian, and think about, Tom, the idea of our worship. What are we there to do? We're there to praise God. We're there to thank Him for the things that we have. But between Sundays, that's the time to practice all the things that we're praising God for and that we're trying to do and learn on that Sunday. And so, I love this idea that, to try to separate, some people want to separate church life from real life, but we cannot do that. It's all the same.
Yeah, that's right. And like I said before, it's who we are. And it should be who we are. We should not be someone who's trying to portray ourselves as a Christian on a Sunday, potentially maybe even on a Wednesday night. But we are to be Christians 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And that encompasses, once again, that's who we are. And I think obviously we should be teaching our children that, and our children who see, especially when they're young, they see everything. They observe everything. They learn from us. And if our children see, you are a heathen 6 days of the week, and then you're putting this picture, well, they're basically seeing, well, Christianity, God is not very important to you. You're just trying to impress the people that are in the church building to make yourself not look bad. And so this is just, once again, it needs to be who we are, not what we're trying to do one day a week, but it's who we are.
And how many people, Tom? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. I'm not accusing anybody. But how many people are sitting in the pews on the benches in the church building that are pretending, that, hey, oh yeah, man, they're here every Sunday, and boy, they've got it all together, and their family looks happy and good, and but then Monday through Saturday they're a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't pray, they don't use the right words. They do things, say things, think things they shouldn't. I mean, I just wonder how many true, authentic Christians are among us, and even including me and you.
Yeah. And Mark, I agree 100% with what you're saying, but I do want to clarify, if that is who you are, please keep coming. I want to encourage you. Please keep coming, and let's work on it. We don't want to discourage someone to say you don't belong here because that's who you are. No. You do belong here, and let's work on it. Let's get better.
Well, and I'm glad you said that. This Sunday night I'm preaching on. I'm going a journey through the New Testament, and it's about 1 Corinthians. And I've already finished the lesson, but the church at Corinth was, you talking about messed up. I mean, they had more sin than you can imagine. And Paul found out about this, and he wrote them a letter of all the sin that was going on in their congregation, in their church. And then the second letter he wrote, which is our 2 Corinthians, basically they had corrected most of that.
Yeah.
And he also, I want to point this out, he called them saints in the first chapter, saints that are justified by Christ, even though they were sinners, even though they were committing some horrible sins, dividing the church and making a mockery of the Lord's Supper and doing all of these things. he still said, "Hey, you're saints. You know, you're trying." And he wrote this letter, and they corrected, for the most part, they corrected all of those things that they were doing. So yeah, if you're going to church, that's a big step. Yeah. I mean, if you're attending worship, I should say, that is a huge step, and don't stop doing that, because you know, if you're not worshiping, then you're not even trying.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're right, and you know, if we saw the congregation there in Corinth in today's world, what would a lot of congregations around here do? We'd be like, we're not going to go eat with them. We're not going to go worship with them.
No.
But at the same time, we all have issues. We all have our faults. But let's keep trying, and let's keep worshiping in accordance with the New Testament scripture of how we're to worship. Let's worship, and let's work on it. And so
that's right.
Man, time flies. Yeah, and you know,
we got a lot more to say, but Tom, we got a whole season to talk about this theme of between Sundays, and so you know, we encourage everybody as we start this new season, season 5. We need likes, and we need shares. We need people, you know, sharing our podcast. It's out there. I mean, it's in Vietnam. I mean, we know that people are listening. But we still need more, and we ask that you do that, and that you continue to stand big and tall as we are trying to do in our faith.
Yep, Mark, and I want to say it one other way, and I agree with you.
All right.
If you're a listener of ours and you're taking time to listen to this, you obviously feel like it's worthwhile, and if it's meaningful to you and helpful to you in your life, it could be helpful to somebody that you know, some of your loved ones. So yeah, please share it. Let others be encouraged if you're being encouraged. And I know, like I said, this has been an encouragement to me and my family. And we just hope that others can be able to stand big and tall in their faith through the encouragement of our itty bitty little podcast here. So I hope everyone has a great week. I hope everyone had a safe 4th of July. And we look forward to talking to you soon.
Maybe Jay Webb will have an exit of singing this time, you think?
Y'all have a great week.
Well, Mark, thank you. I am capable. I am a singer, but I think I'm going to have to pass this time. To our listeners, thank you for listening. This has been the Big and Tall Show podcast with your hosts, Mark Hastings and Tom Runyon. We hope you've enjoyed the show today. If you have, please share a link to the show with your friends and family. It's easy to do, and it is appreciated. So remember to stand big and tall in your faith this week and always. Thank you for listening.